Hi everyone, it's Graham again and welcome back to my channel. So today I am here with part 1 of my June book haul. I have 6 books to share with you today and I'm very excited about every single one of them. So without much further ado, let's get into the books. So it wouldn't be a Graham Sillars Reads Books haul without some Agatha Christie, and I have 2 of those to share with you today. It's these lovely sort of special edition HarperCollins editions, and I'm so excited about them. So the first one I have to show you is And Then There Were None. I don't know if that's going to pick up on the light, but it's absolutely gorgeous. So obviously this is by Agatha Christie. This tells the story of a group of people who go off to an island. They're invited to an island to stay, and they start to be bumped off in very gruesome ways, and the twists and turns in this book are incredible. I read this for the first time a few years ago when the adaptation was on over Christmas, and I think the adaptation had like Charles Dance was in it. I'm sure he was. I'm sure that's his name. Yes, but yeah, the adaptation was brilliant. I read the book before the adaptation was on, and it was just great. I loved it. And this is meant to be one of Agatha Christie's most famous books. It's a standalone. It doesn't have any of her other characters like Hercule Poirot or Miss Marple in it, but it's just absolutely incredible. On the back, it just says, "We're not going to leave the island. None of us will ever leave. It's the end, you see, the end of everything." I just love it, and I'm so happy to add this to my collection, and I hope that's picking up the sparkle that's there, because it's just beautiful. Gorgeous. So the next one is another Agatha Christie, and I've read this one also. It is the A.B.C. Murders, and it's in the same sort of commemorative edition as the And Then There Were None, and I hope that picks up with the sort of bronze colour that's there as well. It's just beautiful. All it says on the back here is, "Let us see, Mr. Clever Poirot, just how clever you can be." So a series of murders take place, and there is an ABC guide to London, I believe, left at each murder. It's a long time since I've read this. Poirot steps in and solves the crime, and I believe one of the main clues is something to do with a typewriter from memory. It's a long time since I've read this, so I do need to give this another go. But I just absolutely adore these editions, and I want to build my collection of these because they're gorgeous. So the next one the next 2, I am going to completely blame on Simon Savage over at Savage Reads. Complete peer pressure, and yeah, I blame them, but I'm not sorry that I bought them. So then, yeah, there we go. On the Red Hill by Mike Parker, where 4 lives fell into place. A marvellous book, an uplifting tale of tranquility sought and found in the nearest Britain gets to paradise. And that's a quote from someone called Simon Jenkins. I just love this cover as well. I will read you the inside. A multi-layered memoir of love, acceptance, finding home, and the redemptive power of nature. In early 2006, Mike Parker and his partner Peridor, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, were witnesses at the first civil partnership ceremony in the small Welsh town of Machynlleth. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The celebrants were their friends Reg and George, who had moved to deepest rural Wales in 1972, not long after the decriminalisation of homosexuality. When Reg and George died within a few weeks of each other in 2011, Mike and Peridor discovered that they had been left their home, a whitewashed house from the children's stories, buried deep within the hills. They had also been left a lifetime's collection of diaries, photographs, letters and books, all revealing an extraordinary history. On the Red Hill is the story of Rhigoch. I'm probably butchering that. It's spelled Rhiwgoch, and it means the Red Hill, and its inhabitants. but also the story of a remarkable rural community and a legacy that extends far beyond bricks and mortar. On the Red Hill celebrates the turn of the year's wheel, the ever-changing landscapes and the family to be found in the unlikeliest of places. Taking the 4 seasons, the 4 elements and these 4 lives as his structure, Mike Parker creates a lyrical but clear-eyed exploration of the natural world, the challenges of accepting one's place in it, and what it can mean to find home. Since June is Pride Month, this is probably a really good book to read, just for that reason, and I do hope to get to this very soon. So the next one again is The Fall of Simon Savage, and yeah, I'm not sorry I bought it. It is Summerwater by Sarah Moss. This has been blurbed by Hilary Mantel. Sharp, searching, thoroughly imagined, utterly of the moment, it throws much contemporary writing into the shade. I don't think I've ever read any Sarah Moss, but the way Simon described this in a recent video on his channel, I just had to have it. It sounded incredible. So yeah, and it's a short one. I don't think it'll take very long to read. The end papers are gorgeous as well. It's like water drips, and I'm there for that. It's cute. I shall read you the inside. On the longest day of summer, 12 people sit cooped up with their families in a faded Scottish chalet park. The endless rain leaves them with little to do but watch the other residents. A woman goes running up the Ben as if fleeing. A retired couple reminisce about neighbours long since departed. A teenage boy braves the choppy waters of the loch alone in his kayak. Each visitor is wrapped in their own cares but increasingly alert to the makeshift community around them. One particular family, a mother and daughter, without the right clothes or the right manners, starts to draw the attention of the others. Tensions rise and all watch on, unaware of the fate that lies ahead as night finally falls. Weaving the rhythms of the human and the natural world over the course of a single day, Summerwater is a devastating exploration of our capacity for both community and the cruelty in these divided times. I can't wait to get to this. I say that with every book I hold up in front of you, and yeah, I can't wait to get to this. That just sounds so up my street. And it's set in Scotland, which, yeah, I'm there for. So the next one, well, the next 2 I got from the same seller, Sussex Downs Books. I absolutely love her Instagram feed. She has an eBay store as well, and she sells the most gorgeous books for very reasonable prices. I will put her Instagram handle down below in the description so that you can go check her out. She uploads lots of books all the time, and they're just gorgeous, and yeah, she's fabulous. So the first one that I have to show you is this really gorgeous 1960s edition of Once on a Time by A.A. Milne, and obviously it says the author of Winnie the Pooh, which I have not read yet in my life ever. I am a terrible human being, and yeah, I hope to get to it soon. I do have multiple copies of it, but I've not read it, so yeah. But this is gorgeous. So this is like a facsimile of the original 1917 edition from what it says on the inside. It was first published in 1917, so long before he even wrote Winnie the Pooh. So it says first published by Hodder and Stoughton, 1917, and this edition is from 1962. So I believe this is a facsimile. I might be wrong, but yeah. Anyway, it's gorgeous. So this, I shall read you the inside. King Merriwig and Euralia, or Euralia? Not sure, was sitting at breakfast. Sorry, hold on. I shall start again. Because King Merriwig of Euralia was sitting at breakfast on his castle walls with his daughter Hyacinth, when the King of Barodia flew over, trying out his 7-league boots. This was the beginning not only of the famous war between the two countries, but of a series of hilarious adventures involving cloaks of darkness and magic swords. A prince turned into an animal of a very peculiar kind, a princess finding true love, a very good little girl, and not forgetting the utterly delightful Countess Belvane. This is fairyland as it must have been, with real problems and rich characters, but with a traditionally happy ending. When a new edition of this book was published in the early 20s, A.A. Milne was certain that of all his books written up to then, Once on a Time was the best one. He was less certain just who would most enjoy his book, and finally dedicated it to those, to those young or old who like the things that I like. Now it is back in print after far too long an absence, with a series of new and charming illustrations by Susan Pearl. Okay, so it's not a facsimile edition, it's a new edition that was published in the 60s. And I can't wait to get to that because that sounds so glorious. And yeah, I think I've read some of A.A. Milne's poetry for children, but I've never read any of his like longer books. And I need to rectify that because this sounds so lovely. So the final book that I got, it's a bit of a chunkster, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this one. It's Movies in America by William Kuhns, or Kuhns, Kuhns. I think it's Kuhns. This is just beautiful. This was published in, I think, let me see. So this was 1975, this was published in. And it was £5 or $12 in the States. And it's just movies through history in America. And I just opened it at such an iconic page. Buster Keaton, a very famous silent movie star from the 1920s. I love this. This is the kind of book that would look amazing on a coffee table. Oh, look, it's Marilyn Monroe on a box of popcorn. I just adore it. I just adore it so much. I'm so excited. Right, I shall read you the inside. We are all children of the movies, whether the Saturday matinees with their endless serials or of the late, late show. True movies are coming to be recognised as the art of our century, the one form of artistic effort that is accessible to everyone, about which we all have some knowledge, some feelings, some opinions. But more than this, movies, particularly old movies, are also a living embodiment of our recent past, a means of knowing what it is like to live in 1942, so Casablanca, Mrs. Miniver, or 1927, Underworld, Sunrise, The Crowd, or 1956, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Giant. An old movie is something like a time machine, transporting us into an audience of another era, letting us feel what people felt then, helping us to relive their struggles and emotions and loyalties. The question arises, to what extent have the movies shaped the cultural history of the 20th century? It's a knotty question. To some extent, the products of Hollywood have always reflected their times. It is no coincidence that the bright, optimistic 20s were the heyday of the silent comedy, the richest, and then it says continued on back flap, so we'll go there. Let's see, hold on. The richest, one of these days I'll get it right, yeah? One of these days I will get it right. Period of screen hilarity, and the Depression had more than a little to do with the rise of the sombre gangster films and a fresh attempt by Hollywood to tangle with social evils. Perhaps more than any other medium of the century, the movies have been a mirror reflecting our anxieties and discomforts, our fantasies and hopes, and in doing so, possibly intensifying and further confirming those feelings and attitudes. In writing Movies in America, the author has tried to follow two main threads of development: the sophistication and broadening of the movies as an art form, and the complex interrelationships between a period and the movies of that period. The book is not a year-by-year history of the American film as such, but it uses film history as its format and design, its plot simply because it is helpful to know where an idea started and how it developed. Also included are sections on directors, columnists, newsreels and serials. Movies in America is a guide to American films. It will be of interest to the casual moviegoer as well as to the serious student of cinema. I'm so excited to have this book in my collection, not only because it's like an American book and I've never seen this in like this country before, but because I do love like old movies and vintage Hollywood of the sort of 1920s, 1930s era, and I'm just so excited. It's just absolutely gorgeous as well. Let me get another picture. Okay, cool. So we have Marlene Dietrich, people, and a few other movie stars of golden age of American cinema. I'm just so excited to have all of these books. This one especially because it's just gorgeous. It's the kind of book that you could just dive in and out of and just enjoy. So yeah, before I go off on a tangent again, like I usually do, I will say that's the end of my video, my part 1 of my June book haul. Thank you so much for watching. Whatever you're doing, I hope you have so much fun doing it. Whatever you're reading, I hope you love it. Stay fabulous, be amazing, be yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you again soon for another video. Bye-bye.